Now, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I want to know y'all opinion on this. This is probably the first time I've heard a story time and I did not agree with the creator. That's just me personally. But I want y'all to hear it all the way throughout, and I want y'all to tell me if y'all agree with her. Is this the worst date experience somebody can have? I'm having a hard time seeing it. Let me know what y'all think. But before we get into it, now listen, if you're looking for the creator, you already know this is where you can find her. You can find her on TikTok. TikTok is full of some of the messiest stories you can find on the internet. So if you're looking for this content creator, this is how you can contact her and follow up with her on more about this situation. But for the rest of y'all, let's get into this video.
Okay, hello. I am here to do a story time of my date that happened yesterday, and it turned out to be the worst date ever. Okay, this is gonna be a lot, so get comfortable and watch it because every detail is like insane. I feel like this is a prank, and this is like, I don't know, I'm not even mad. I'm like shocked, and it's just so funny. Okay, so basically, I went on a date yesterday with this guy. He's Vietnamese. So he picked me up from my house in Seattle. And then right when he picked me up, I was kind of like, oh, okay, like he's not bad looking for Vietnamese. Usually not what I like typically go for. And he was kind of really chatty from the start. So I was just like, oh, like, good first impression.
That's a backhanded compliment.
And then we're driving to the bars because this is where he wants to go. He was the one who chose to go to the bars, okay? Like, keep that in mind. So I feel like, especially for a first date, you're gonna go to the bars. Like, I feel like you should be able to handle, like, yourself, going to get drinks with a girl. So we're going to some random bar in downtown Seattle. Like more on the other side, not Capitol Hill. But yeah, so we're on the way there and we're talking and it's like just normal like small talk at the beginning. So it's like, okay, I'm not surprised that it's not like in depth or, anything like super deep. But while we're on the way there, like we're talking and we're talking about something and all of a sudden he goes, Kayla. He calls me by Kayla, like by a different girl's name. And I'm like, mind you, this has happened to me before, so it's not the first. So I was like, did you just call me by like a different girl's name? And then he tries to like play it off. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. How do I make it up to you? Like this and that. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm already kind of like annoyed and, like, what the heck? But I keep trying to like push through. So we're heading to the bars. And I'm already like, you know, on my tippy toes. So we get to the bars, and then we sit down, and then the lady gives us the menu to look at like the drinks. We're looking at the cocktails, and I'm like thinking, and he like looks at me and he goes, "What should I get? Like, what's good? This is my first cocktail." And I'm like, "This is your first Like in my head, I'm like, "This is your first cocktail? Like, you've never been to the bars for." And also before this, he's talking about like he's drank Hennessy, he's drank tequila, he's drank soju, this and that. So, but also he told me he was 22, foreshadowing to the like end. I'm pretty sure he just turned 21 and he's just never been out and he just doesn't have experience. But yeah, so I'm like a little like shocked. I'm trying to help him like choose a drink. And also on the way to like the bars, like our conversations, he just like seems like he just doesn't have like a lot of experience in things. Like we're talking about concerts, we're talking about like going out, we're talking about like people like, just street smart stuff. And I value someone being street smart and he just definitely did not have that. And I was just really trying. Yeah. So we are choosing like a drink and he ended up choosing like this Tito's lemonade drink. So your basic drink, right? And then I chose a really good drink, thank goodness. So we got our drinks, and then while we were waiting, like football's playing. Like the opening night was yesterday, and if you know me, I love sports, I love football, but it is not my personality. That is just not all me. So we are like watching football on the game and then I'm like telling him about like myself. I was like, oh, like my dad taught me, like trying to get more into like a little deeper, just not like strictly surface level. And then he was like so impressed that I knew like basketball, football, like, yeah, hey, yay, woohoo, like whatever. But then I would like continue asking him questions like, oh, like what's your major? What do you do? Like he would always go, guess. I'm like he would keep trying to do this guessing game, like guess who? I like give me something. And throughout this whole day, he would just not ask me anything about myself too. He would ask me like, name 5 offense player, name 5 defense players, and I'm like, obviously I can do these things, but like, what does that have to say about me? You know, like, yes, we get it. Like, I love football, you do too, but that's not all I care about. And I'm trying to ask him like, you know, normal things too, and he just would not give me anything.
That's normal for guys.
And then yes, we got our drink, so we're drinking in. He like is sipping on it like really slow, and I'm sipping off one, and like I personally think I can handle my alcohol, but obviously also not one drink is not gonna like get me any, like I'm not gonna get drunk at all. Not even tipsy. Like that's yeah. And then we're drinking, right? And then I just like wasn't feeling it. We're talking about the game like I'm trying. And then says something. He calls me Kayla again. This is the second time he calls me Kayla again, and I'm like, are you serious? And I'm like, no way. Whatever. I'm trying to like, oh my gosh. I go to the bathroom, so I text my roommates. Shout out you and Chelsea. I am like, SOS. I need like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need help soon. So I leave out to the bar, and this is only like an hour in, but it felt like it's been like 4 hours. So I walk out, I go back to the scene, I see that he already paid for like the drink, and I'm like, we're just getting one drink. Thank goodness, because obviously I want to leave, but also like, damn, like just one drink, like that's crazy. So I sit down, and then I was like, oh, okay, are we like ready then? So I'm like finishing my drink. I'm basically almost done. I look over. He's like a fourth in, like a little over a fourth maybe. And then I'm like, is your drink good? Like what's wrong? Like, why aren't you drinking it? And then he goes, oh my gosh. He goes, I'm like, sure. I'm like low-key like really drunk right now. And I'm like, no way. And then he gives me the drink, and he's like, can you help me? And I go, whatever. So I grab the drink and I drink it because I'm just so annoyed at this point. So I'm drinking it, and I gave him at least a fourth left to finish it. So basically he only drank half the cocktail, and this dude's drunk right now. So I'm like, okay, let's go. So we're leaving the bar. We walk out, and then we get to the car, and I'm on the passenger side about to open the door for myself. He's on the driver's side. And then like he's like, do you want to go to Gasworks? And I was like, maybe we should go to Gasworks so I can like call like my roommates there and have them pick me up, because I don't want him to be driving here and like stay here just in case he's so drunk or something, like in front of my house. So then I was like, oh yeah, like whatever. And then he looked like not well, and I'm like, are you okay? Do you need me to drive? This dude says yes. He goes over to the passenger side, drops his keys off in my hand, hops into the passenger side, and I'm like shamefully walking to the driver's seat, getting in. I'm like, no way, I'm literally about to drive this dude who drank half a cocktail. He called me Kayla 2 times. He knows nothing about me. Like, the date is just so bad. I'm like laughing like at this point. So I go in the car. You think it can get any worse? We're driving to Gasworks, right? I'm also navigating myself because he is so drunk. He grabs the aux. He's like, oh, you want to hear one of my favorite songs? And I'm just like, what is he gonna play? He puts on Never Lose Me by Flo Milli, and he starts rapping and singing it, and I'm just like, no way this is happening. Like, no way. I'm so shocked. I literally like, I'm trying to drive as fast as I can. Once we got to Gasworks, I stepped out of the car and was like, oh, like, I need to call like my roommates, call Koshin. And then I was just like, Josie Mans. I was like, hey, like, it's emergency time, like, you need to get me. So they rush over really quickly. And in the car, right when I hopped in off the phone call, I walked in, and he looked like really nauseous. He looked like he was going to yak. And I was just like trying to talk and distract him because I don't want him to be yakking. I don't want him to be doing anything. Like 8 minutes until like my roommates get here, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. So right when like they got here, Ewan called, really good acting skills, 10 out of 10, and was like, Candace is hurt, like this and that. And I was just pretending like with over the phone so I can like end this thing. And yeah, so I walked out and ran to the car. Oh, also, I forgot. He called me Kayla again twice when we got into the car and then when we got to Gasworks. So he called me Kayla 4 times, and when the third time, I was like, you called me Kayla twice already. He was like, no, I only did it once. It doesn't matter. You called me like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
He was drunk.
Um,
He was drunk.
Basically, fast forward, worst day ever. This feels like a prank. He texted me, hey, like at 2 o'clock today. I texted back. I was like, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. Wish nothing but the best for you. I was so nice, right? He just texts back. He goes, thanks for yesterday, Kayla. I have a date today. But yeah, friend sounds great.
Good for him. Good for him.
Oh my gosh.
Good for him.
But yes, I'm running out of time.
Yeah,
but
you are. Listen, now, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I'm a male. I'm a man. Maybe it's just me. But if a man, listen, what is wrong with, I'm still trying to figure out what was so bad about the date. Okay, he calls you Kayla. Your name is Candace. It's close. Close enough. And he was drunk. Off a half a cocktail, right? So here's my thing. If somebody's getting drunk off half a cocktail, that tells me one thing, right? One thing for sure. This person don't drink. What is the issue with that? Why is that a problem? I'm confused. Like, oh, you're not an alcoholic? Oh, I hate this guy. Like, what is going on? I'm confused. Other than him calling you Kayla and not opening the door, like, you couldn't just settle, like, get off your high horse for that little second and just be like, you know what? He don't know me. He don't know anything about me yet. So, you got to set the standard with people. He called you somebody else's name that he probably just got a relationship with. Now, at the end, I don't care. I mean, I don't blame him from dogging you like he did because you were kind of rude. Like, you were mad at him because he didn't want to drive drunk. Like, this is why I'm not. This is why. Now, I know, ladies, I know y'all about to be in there flooding the comments probably with different opinions. I get it. This is probably the worst day to a lot of you. But to most of us, like, this is just, like this is so petty. I would have been okay with that. If somebody would have called me the wrong name a couple times, I'm like, listen, my name is Curtis. I get it. You've been in another relationship probably for a long time, but, this is to get over that. You know what I mean? We all been in certain relationships. It's time to just grow up, I guess, in a sense. I don't know. She did say he was 22 or so I'm assuming she's 22 or 23, probably around the same age as him. And it's just like, I don't know. I guess as y'all get older, y'all gonna realize that was kind of stupid. That was kind of petty. Like, maybe you should have just gave him another shot. But hey, Kayla, now he's with somebody else or Candace, whatever. But what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section. This is silly as hell.